I am happy to announce our next guest speaker is Carlos Kelly from Uplift. So once again, welcome, Carlos. Thank you so much for being here. And let me go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thanks. Okay, I think I have a little bit of lag, but I hope you are learning as I did a lot in the Nikki session. I hope you learn a lot as well in this session. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our use case of Quantrix. I'm gonna tell you about how Uplift uses Quantrix. So in order to do that, first I need you to tell what is Uplift, what do we do? So Uplift is a buy now, pay later solution. We lend our customers, we give them the possibility to buy tickets for airplane. We allow them to buy cruise tickets. We allow them to buy package tickets. So we are a buy now, pay later solution for travel. We do that directly to our with our partners in conjunction with our partners. So what we do is we do a monthly installments loan with no late fees, no prepayment penalties. We do everything automated. We are integrated directly to our partners' website. So we actually give the loans directly with our partners web page. So it's a new kind of buy now, pay later. Most of buy now, pay later solutions that you can see right now in the market have their own marketplace. So our objective is different. Our objective is to create loyalty with the brands. So that's why we are implementing directly our solution with the travel brands web page. So because of that, we increase our partners. We help them increase their unit economics. We help them increase their conversion. We help them increase their average order value, and we help them increase their customer lifetime value. And that happens because we are integrating within their own website. We are not making them fight for their customers like another buy now, pay later solution does. So we care about them a lot about them, and we care a lot about our customers. We have different partners like Alaska, Legion, or Mexico. We have multiple partners, and we have multiple verticals. So we help airlines, we help cruises, we help packages, we help hospitality, we help many verticals of travel. So and we care a lot on our consumers as well. So that's one big difference between ourselves and the competition. So and know that you know a little bit more about Uplift and what does it do. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me. I'm not a Quantrix expert, actually. Nonetheless, I have plenty of experience in data science and advanced analytics. I've been implementing those in startups specifically. So I'm going to tell how Quantrix fits in our toolkit. So anyone that knows about data science or analytics, we use tools like R, Python, a little bit of Tableau, SQL. So we use another tools, and those tools are not designed to be used by end users or business users. So I'm gonna tell my experience using Quantrix as an implementer of data science and a lead of data science. Currently, I'm leading the team of senior strategic finance and scalability analyst. So this presentation will reflect that. So so you need to understand the business, so just so you know how we implemented it. So the objective of each business is to improve itself. So our main goal is to make it better, right? And I think that's a very business goal. So you need to understand which part of the business is really good. You need to understand what are the the good segments of your business, and you need to understand what are the segments that you don't want to have on your business, or that you at least that you want to change. You need to understand each dimension that you are creating the business with. You need to understand each dimension of your customers. We need to understand each dimension of our partners, of customers. We need to understand like every piece of it. So the pieces that we need to understand, for example, are like the FICO score. As I told you, we lend money we lend to our customers to allow them purchase travel like flights and stuff like that. Sorry. And one dimension of our customers is the FICO score. We need to know if they have a good FICO score. FICO score is credit score, practically. So we need to understand if they're good with their credits or if they are poor with the credit. So it's a dimension that we need to understand in order to improve it, improve our business. We also need to understand our partner's perspective. We need to understand what vertical are they in. So we need to understand if they are on airlines, if they are cruise, if they are package. So we need to understand the perspective of our partners as well. Not only that, but when you are a lending company, a fintech lending company, you need to understand as well vintages. So in traditional companies, once you have sold something, let's say we are on October right now. Once you have sold something in October, you forget about that sale. Like you don't need to follow up that sale across time. In lending, that doesn't happen because your customers pay your loan month over month. So you need to follow as well, not only the month that loan was originated, but also the evolution of that loan. You need to understand it by vintage, and you need to understand what happens to that specific loan month over month. So it's another dimension that you need to understand your business. And you need to understand the terms, the loan term itself. You need to understand what happens to 3-month loans, what happens to 6-month loans. We currently have 5 different payment terms. We have 3, 6, 11, 18, and 24 months. So we need to understand each term differently. And we also have 2 kinds of products. We have the interest-bearing product, a traditional loan, you pay interest month over month, and we also have subvented loans. And that subvented loans, you don't pay for that subvented loan, you don't pay any interest at all. The partner directly pays us an amount just to give our end consumers the payment solution that they need. So you need to understand these terms to fully understand your business. So as you can see, there are a lot of details. You have different products, interest-bearing or subvention, and for each one you have different verticals. You have air vertical, cruise vertical, package, and you have other verticals that are not as important as these 3. You also have different terms, different payment solutions. You have 3, 6, 11, 18, 24 months, and you have 3 different main credit segments: prime FICO, near prime FICO, subprime FICO. So as you can see, this is just the evolution of one single line of dimension, of one single line for each dimension, but the combination of all of them creates a lot of details to understand the whole business and to improve it. So and with that, you need to create a scenario. So in order for us to improve our business, we need to understand what happens if we increase more the segment of interest-bearing product for air. So and what happens if we decrease our GTV, or what? Sorry, GTV means origination. What happens if we decrease our origination? What happens if we increase our interest rate? So we need to make a lot of scenarios, and these scenarios are not from history and are not from historical data. These scenarios come directly from your mind. So in order to do that easily, we needed to implement something that allow us to just quickly make some inputs and understand what will happen if anything like this happen in the future. COVID, for example, we needed to understand what happens if we decrease a lot of, what happens if we decrease origination? What happens if our customer stops paying us? So there's a lot of things that we need to understand in different scenarios. So we also need to understand that. And another need is to not only understand that from a financial standpoint, so not only understand that from financial statements, but also understand it from a unit economics perspective. Unit economics means just is just a percentage. If I originate $1 single, how that dollar will be reflected on our financials. So, for example, if I originate $1, this is not Uplift unit economics, just so you know, but 15% of that will be revenue, and I will have some cost, and those costs will represent a percentage of that origination. So, again, you need to understand that as well, and these two should be connected, should come directly from the same data. So, so your business side, your product side, your marketing side, your strategic side is not created in silos. So you need to have all of this created in with one single data source, let's say. So this is important just to make better decisions and to improve your business. But there's a challenge with this. So I told you there's a lot of details that we need to understand, multiple pieces of information in different angles. So with this, a lot of tables are needed. So a lot of data is needed in order to create this. We use Snowflake. We use Snowflake for our database solution, and we have a lot of tables. We have multiple tables in order to create all of this dimensionality, all of this complexity of our business. We need to pull multiple data sources. If we create this, we're gonna use more than 27 million of cells. So there's of input cells, and input cells, I mean, from data that is pulled from Quantrix, from Snowflake, and from data that is actually manually input. The majority of it, it's data that is from the database from Snowflake. So you need to have a tool that allows you to build all of these with certainty and and a tool that allows you to do this quickly. So this is a lot to ask. And not only that, but you need to build multiple reports from the results of your calculations of your engine. So this is a lot to ask. So as everyone, we did a first approach, and our first approach was Excel. So I guess that everyone tries to do that at the beginning, but this created something that we didn't want it. So we did this, and we did this in a more summarized way. We did a financial scenario with Excel, and a lot of tabs were required. So we had one tab for our interest paid. We have another tab for our interest accrued, and this for all the 18-month term products. So this created an Excel file that had more than 50 tabs just to create one financial scenario. So it was really slow. So you had a lot of tabs. It wasn't easy to go directly to one tab. It was really painful to go directly to one specific tab that you needed to update, for example, or you needed to change. It was really slow to update. It was as well really slow to calculate in Excel. And as you can see, there are dimensions that we're not placing right here. For example, we're not placing 18 months for air vertical or 18 months for prime users. So it wasn't the detail that's needed. We didn't understand our business very well with this Excel solution. It was a pain to update. So there are a lot of tabs, and for each tab you need to place manual inputs, right? So it was really a pain to update. It was really a pain to make scenarios as well. We did one scenario builder tab, and to be honest, it was really a pain just to create the scenarios. And to be honest, nobody understood how to make scenarios. Like there was just switches and switches and numbers of scenario making. So it wasn't as easy to understand, to be honest. And the worst part of all is all of this is just in Excel. We can't push that to Snowflake or to our database system in order to other team, in order to allow other teams to use the financials. So it was just creating a silo. It was really hard to use, and it was just for us to understand what will happen. But it wasn't a very good solution, to be honest. So this was our first approach. Then we implemented Quantrix. We said, okay, this is not a good solution. We need to implement something that allows us to do all of that. So we implemented Quantrix. And for all the different tabs that you saw in Excel, 18-month, interest accrued, 18-month, interest paid, and so on. So for all of that, one single matrix was required in Quantrix. So as you, for those who know Quantrix, we actually had the availability to select the different reporting types. For example, we had the availability to see what is our forecast and what is our actual. This is very important for startups that present results to board of directors. So we had the opportunity to see the differences between forecast and actuals. We have the possibility to see different scenarios, to build different scenarios. We have different types of items, amounts of percentages. And we also have different dimensions. As I told you, we need to understand not only when the loan was originated, this is vintage, not only this, also how it evolves, and this is the vintage, and this is how it evolves for July 2024, for example. We also need to understand the vertical. We have that in one single matrix. Traditional, the product and term, we have that in one single matrix. We have all the terms in one single matrix. And we have all the lending items in one single matrix as well. We don't need to have multiple tabs to build what is our balance outstanding, what our principal balance outstanding, what is our what are our servicing costs, what are our interest paid, interest accrued. So we have all of that in one single matrix, and we have our credit segment in one single matrix as well. We have all this data for all these different dimensions in one single matrix. So it's really good compared to what we had in Excel, and it is really easy to understand it because we have all of this in one single matrix, and we have all the formulas needed to calculate all of this. So it's really different from what we had in Excel. And this build data. So this interest bearing matrix builds data. And that is used to calculate not only the financials, but also our unit economics. The unit economics and financials come directly from the same source. So we are not making silos. We are not making different versions of our position, financial position, and unit economics position. So we have all the interest revenue for all the verticals and for all the vintages, and we can create more views of these, including more dimensions. So we build that using the same metrics that we're using for financials. It also allow us to have everything very well organized. So as you can see in Excel, it's very hard to organize your tabs, right? You have all of them in your bottom tray, and it's really hard to go specifically to one that you need to. Here it's really different. You can organize your different matrices using folders and creating directories. So for example, we are placing all the manual inputs in one inputs file folder, so we can place what is our actual date, what are our actual FX rates. So we have the availability to do organization within our matrices. We can create the scenarios directly in our Quantrix tool. We can select, okay, so what happens if we increase our origination 80%, or what happens if we decrease it 40% directly in one single matrix, and you can drag and drop this slider. So it's easy to create scenarios with this. and you can see directly the results of your changes. So it was really good to create that. Again, our data is in Snowflake. You can pull data from Snowflake using Excel, but it's not as easy to understand as it is in Quantrix, to be honest. Right now, we are pulling data from our Snowflake database. We just select the database. We select our connector. We can manage different connectors for different users. So we just do a select statement for in order to pull data from our database. It's really easy. And you can pull data directly from Excel as well, because many people will use Excel, to be honest, or CSV. So we are fine with that. We can pull data from there as well. And we not only that, but we can push data. This is a big need. So again, we need to push this so other teams can see what are our financials. So we can do that. We can push our financial statement or profit and loss statement directly to Snowflake. We can push that, and we can use it not only to share it to other teams, but to create reports with it. As I was telling you, I'm coming from a data science background, so an analytics background. So making reports with Tableau, it's really helpful. So as you can see, this is a report in Tableau, and this uses data created from Quantrix. So NTM is another way that we call our unit economics, but we are using the unit economics from our Quantrix model. So we push data directly from our Quantrix model to Snowflake, and it allows us to create different reports. We can share that with different teams. We can pull those again to create more analytics with our analytical tools. So it's really great to push that to Snowflake directly. So this is how we use Quantrix. This is our toolkit. This is the toolkit of my team. We use Snowflake and other data sources. We pulled that directly from R or Python, depending on what we're doing. We pulled that data from Snowflake into R or Python, and then we create some transformation. Right now, what we're doing with our Python is creating forecasting, is creating analytics. So we do that, and then we push those again into Snowflake. And this becomes a loop. With the scenarios, we then pull those again with our Python to create more analytics. And once we have the tables and data that we need, we push that directly to Quantrix. We create the pool from Quantrix, and then we transform that data again. We create engines in order to create our interest accrue or interest paid or principal paid. So we pull that into Quantrix from Snowflake. And then once we have the results that we need, we push those into Snowflake again. So it is a loop. We are pulling data, transforming it, pushing it. We're again pulling it, transforming it, and pushing it. So this becomes a loop of transformation and publication of data. So again, this is to create our financial scenarios, and this is all done in Quantrix and pushed directly to Snowflake. And other tools as well as Excel file, Google Sheets. So it is really easy to incorporate this tool to our analytical toolkit. So this is how we use Quantrix and how we use it with other tools. What are our outcomes? So know that I told you that we used Excel before, and we used you use it for creating financial scenarios. Our outcomes were the following. So before we incorporated Quantrix, we needed to use a lot of time to update the model. So it was really painful just to push data directly to Excel tab by tab. So it was not as easy, to be honest. We couldn't understand the impact of COVID. So what happened with Excel is that in order to create scenarios, we needed to make a lot of changes in the scenarios builder, as you saw in previous slide. So it was really hard to make scenarios. It was really hard to see what will happen if our customers stop paying us. What happens if our customers started to ask for refunds? What happens if our origination decrease? So, or what happens if our partners stop originating sales? So it was really hard to understand the impact of COVID. This was happening in 2020, mid 2020. So it was really hard to understand the future impact of COVID. The automation, to be honest, it was really hard. We didn't have like an automated system. It was really hard to see all of the financial results. And there were a lot of spreadsheets that didn't agree. As I told you, unit economics were not from the same data as the financials. So we had like different versions of financials and the economics of the company. And this creates silos of information within your own team. So it's really hard to manage all your business with this. And after Quantrix, what happened is that we did the time of update. It is just really it is really easy to update your financials. It's just a click of a button. If you have everything in your database, you can click update everything, update your data sources, and all your matrices that depends on Snowflake are updated. So it's really easy. Instead of spending a lot of time to update all the model, it's just a click of a button. We also use Quantrix for not only for our financial forecast, but for our accounting statements. So it's easy just to pull directly the results of accounting if it's in another Quantrix model. So we are pulling that from accounting and placing it directly in our financial model. So it's really easy to do that. And with the time that we save, we could focus more on actual basis forecast. As I told you, if you're a startup, you do board presentations, it is really important to tell your board, okay, so this is our actuals, and this is what we told you the previous board meeting. So you need to be very honest with your board and tell them, okay, so these are our differences. It is really easy to do that, and it is really easy to focus on showing that to the board and analyzing what is happening to your forecast, what should be improved. So it gives you time to improve your forecast as well. There is less room for manual errors. In Excel, there are multiple ways that you can make errors. Like maybe you copy and pasted a value where in a place that you didn't need to place a value, or you make a mistake of placing some manual value. So there's less room for that. And as I was telling you, we could optimize our forecast. So there's a lot of things that we need to do to optimize our forecast, implementing more analytics in terms of what are our differences. So it gave us time to do that. And the good part is that we now understand some segments that are really good for the business, and the combination of those segments and with different products, we now understand that specific segment with our subvention product is performing really good, and we can see it now because we are adding that to our financial scenarios, and that was something that we couldn't do with Excel. So it helps us to understand the performance of all the different segments and all of the different scenarios that we did. So it is really good to have this in one single tool. And as I told you, I come from a data science and analytics background. So it was really good to have people that help you. There's multiple consultants over there. We asked for Rich Lopez help. You can find it in YouTube as Quantrix Authority. and he's a really good consultant. He teaches you, he helps you to use Quantrix in a very good way. So it was really good to have his support and really easy to understand how Quantrix is built. So not only him, but also we have another consultant. So it is really easy to go out there and ask for help. You can also find documentation out there. You can find if you have if you can use a specific formula because it throws you an error. You can find documentation of that formula directly on the Quantrix website. So it is really easy to go directly to this site and to see what are the different formulas. And if you have a specific issue, you can find yourself searching in these formulas that allow you to build the mold that you need. So again, the resources that are available online and with consultants are very good. So this is really helpful when you are just starting. And yeah, this is a great place to search. So I think I run through the presentation, but again, this is how we use Quantrix and how we implemented it directly in with our financials. So yeah, I don't know if you have any comment or any question. Again, sorry, I run for this presentation, but I don't know if you have any question or any comment.
Great, thanks so much, Carlos. It's great to hear about Uplift and how Quantrix fits into the company there. So yeah, we do have a couple questions we can go over. First one is, can you say more about what you calculate in R versus what you compute in Quantrix, and are they complementary or overlapping?
Yeah, sure. Let me. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay, what we do in R is forecasting. So one very important piece of forecasting is that it needs to be accurate. So we are creating forecasts for origination with RMS. We are creating forecasts for our collections. We're creating forecasts for how the refunds will behave month over month. We have different forecasts, and we are building it with R. Forecast for our losses. So what we do is pull data from Snowflake, and we transform that data directly in R or Python. We push that directly to Snowflake again. So the midpoint between R and Quantrix is Snowflake. Once we have the forecast that we did with R, the forecast of behavior that we did with R, we pull that using Quantrix. So it's just like a machine learning flow. It's just a forecasting flow, and we use Snowflake as a mid solution to pull that into Quantrix itself.
Great. And can you say something about the size of your model and where you run it?
Sure. So right now we have a model that has 80 megs it weighs it has a size of 80 megs. So right now we are running it in we are running it directly on our local machine. So our machine specs are 60 gigs of the majority of the team might have one of 32, but we're running it locally. So it is 80 megs of information, and I bet you can run that on Excel. I bet you. Yeah.
And we had another from the audience here. Do you use Quantrix Cloud at Uplift?
We want to. That's a very good question. We want to use Quantrix Cloud because we want to show directly like external stakeholders or internal teams. We want to show them the results directly from Quantrix. But it's a project that we haven't spent much time on it, to be honest. Some of the consultants started to help, but we started get more requests on doing more scenarios and more analytics. So no, the answer is no. it's something that we want to create in the near future, but it's something that we are not doing yet, to be honest. But great question.
Awesome. And then there's just one other here. I know you've touched on it a little bit, Carlos, but did you use the consulting resources to help build your models initially, and how was that? Was it valuable to you?
Okay, yeah. So yes, we use them we use Rich help for, to be honest, to be more precise, to build the model. So Rich is a really awesome dude. So we built the model with his help, and it was from, well, kind of from scratch. So yeah, they help them. If you want to incorporate Quantrix into your business, you can ask your Rich or any consultant's help to get your financials into Quantrix, and they will help you to build it from scratch. So they're good resources.
Great. Well, thanks so much again, Carlos. Really enjoyed hearing your presentation and hearing about how Quantrix fits into Uplift. So with that completes our question. Oh, no, wait, sorry. We did just get another one in. What has been the effort size for creating this model away from Excel? Yeah,
that's a very good question. So it is easier if you already have the structure of the model, because you need to understand that the structure of the model may be the same as the one that you have in Excel. Like, you need to understand how everything will connect and what will be your data inputs. What data do you need? You need to understand what are I can present it. Well, you need to understand what data you will use. You need to understand how will you calculate the results, and you need to understand how the reports will be made. So once you have that, it requires some time to implement those. But if you have it already very well organized, and if you understand what you need, it's and this is something that I showed you here. So if you understand this part, it will be easier to implement it. If you understand what you will need, how will you transform it, and how will you show it, it will be easier. But it is something that will require some time, to be honest. But we show. I think this is something that my boss was more into, to be honest. And I think at least to show results, it was 1 to 2 months. But maybe I'm mistaking here. But again, it will be easier if you have this.
Okay, awesome. Well, that looks like it concludes all of our questions. So once again, thanks, Carlos.